I've got a great segue because obviously we've been talking about we're talking about Christmas and everything. Yeah, what is your favorite kind of non-Christmas movie that you love to watch at Christmas? Because obviously, like Lord of the Rings and like Harry Potter, are always watched this time of year. So it doesn't have to be them, but anything like that that
Was they say
you
anything
love.
that's not Christmas or another Christmas movie that's not horror?
Yeah, it's so it would be not Christmas in the sense that it would be like Lord of the Rings isn't really a Christmas movie, but something you watch around this time that kind of gets you in the mood for Christmas. I mean, it could be anything. It could
I
be
think
opera,
for
or is it
me,
dancing in the Ex Machina?
nah, the movie for me that really says to me that Christmas has started is like watching Scrooged.
Ooh,
That one's
okay.
that one's always like on the 80s movies page I have. Granted, I don't know if I've done it every year since I started doing it, but usually it's his little speech at the end of it when he's saying about, you got an extra blanket, you got a sandwich, here. That's the Christmas message I always kind of leave for everyone on Christmas Eve. But yeah, I feel like Christmas doesn't start until I watch that movie.
Ooh, okay.
You've seen Scrooge, so haven't you?
Yeah, 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 yeah. No,
Because I
no,
was
no.
like, a second, I was like, you better have watched it.
Whoa, I have to. Please, please, please. We're civil today. No, no, no.
There's
I've
there's
definitely seen.
there's land and water between us. No, you're right.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I definitely have seen that one, and it was just because it's. I guess again that's the kind of like humor you like. Because yeah, unfortunately I just haven't seen it for a while because it's like. Unfortunately, I have this really bad problem where I buy loads of movies and then I don't rewatch the ones I've got.
Yeah.
I think we can relate to that. But no, I've just because I was looking at my stack and I was like, I haven't added that to it, so I'm going to add that to my Christmas rewatch list. But yeah, it was because it was a strange one when I watched it. It was so bizarre because it's so darkly comedic, but it's brilliant. Like you can
Yeah.
see, like Bill Murray is either having the best time or the worst time of his life making that film, but it's either way, we're getting the gold out of that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Maybe for me it's just the 80s. I feel like that's where like our kind of like peak comedy was because they actually realized or knew when to let like a joke end and not to just
Yeah.
run it into the ground because like, oh, we got one laugh, let's just keep running it and running it until it dies.
Oh, just bear with me.
Yeah. I haven't had a chance to watch Violent Night yet, Dan, but definitely will watch it because I've been wanting to see it.
Ah, sorry. Yeah, just got
That's
given
all right. I was
sweets.
just
So,
letting someone know that because he mentioned Violent Night that I will eventually see it.
ooh. Dead Poet Society is a good one to full movie cozy, and Green Knight. Definitely agree. I don't know what mine would be. I think mine's Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. Yeah,
It's like the whimsy. Is it because it's set around like December time where you are? Because obviously for us it's hot and yuck for
yeah.
Christmas with us.
I watched it randomly. I think it must have been near Christmas because I just remember all the hate that movie got. So I was like, okay, and it was on TV one day, and I thought, all right, let's just keep it on, and I was sucked into it. And I think it's the magic. The that kind of film is just magical, and it just gets me into that kind of spirit. But then I also like films like I've said, like Secret Santa and Better Watch Out
Yeah.
that have a real kind of mean streak, and it's that balance of that's when I feel like Christmas for me is really kind of kicking in when you can, like you said, well, even I mean, Scrooge is a complete package because it's
Yeah.
got like heart and warmth of like the Christmas Carol story, but then it's got that darkly comedic edge. But yeah, with the like you're saying about the 80s and the comedy, yeah. I mean, just look at the Monty Python movies. Like, you've got the Monty Python movies, you've got Blues Brothers, Animal House, Fast Times, you know. But yeah, it was just a completely different era where, I miss the raunchy comedy, and I'm glad it's coming back. Like, I'm glad there are filmmakers now who aren't using a lot of the problematic elements that we grew up with, and they're actually saying you can still keep that subgenre, but you can just do it differently. And it's like, yes,
Hmm.
yes, it's like, yes, it's like I'm waiting for the day for the erotic thriller to come back. Like, I'm waiting for that because I miss those movies. Like, you got obviously your Basic Instincts and all that, and it was just like they're great. They're so much fun. I mean, I guess it's just a pervert in me, I guess, but uh, it is. I know, but that's where I do feel like I'm from. Like we've been talking like from a different generation, but you do feel like especially when like a lot of the stuff I like and want to talk about, like people look at me and just go, why? And I'm like, yeah, but I like the detective stories. I like, because a lot of them are detective stories, so
Yeah.
you've got a real nice element there, and then you've got obviously those kind of other elements as well, and it's like, yeah, I miss those because that's again through the 90s that was like a main staple. I mean, even stuff like Species had,
Oh yeah.
yeah, that was an entire franchise, was sci-fi kind of more that, but yeah, you just go, oh, and then I've been watching stuff on Netflix that they've been doing, and you just go, oh, please Netflix, just stop, please stop, just don't. I'll tell you what though, if you ever get to see Fair Play, Fair Play is an interesting one that I watched recently. It's not as kind of saucy as you'd expect, but where the film, because that's what they kind of, the trailer cut it as, is like an erotic thriller, but it's definitely a lot more complex than that, and that really was a nice surprise.
I feel like now when they try to do them, they just, I don't know. It's just maybe just the time now. It's like it took a while for like slashes to actually come back properly
Yeah.
because you had Basic Instinct, and of course everyone loves that one. But when they did the second one, my god, it was awful.
Yeah.
And it was like,
Yeah.
okay, let's just try and up the sex scenes, and you're like, yeah, well, they've got to actually be like hot to watch, you know what I mean? And you're kind of like, you just chucked it in there because you could, and just there was just no good story to it either.
No,
It's actually something my friend Nathan Hill tries to do because he actually quite enjoys the erotic thrillers and stuff like that. So that's what he's attempting to do when it comes to his movies that he does.
oh, brilliant. Oh,
Yeah,
brilliant. I mean, this is the thing also, is that it comes back to a big problem in that subgenre, which is obviously very much one-sided kind of nudity in that one. It's very much, because I've been talking about it with someone at my work, and we've been commenting about like body types as well of the kind of actors in the movie. It's not realistic, and then you've also got the fact that the guys don't really get naked in them, and it's like, yeah, it's a strange subgenre, but that's where again someone passionate who wants to tell stories do it differently, and I think I think that's the one thing that desperately needs to change in Hollywood is equal opportunity nudity. That's
isn't
my
that
big rally cry.
isn't that something they had a big thing about with that Bruce Willis movie Color of Night because there was male nudity in it and people thought it was too much or something like that?
Oh, probably. I didn't hear any of that. I didn't hear any of that, and thank goodness I didn't, because otherwise I would probably explode. Because I think it's just, well, no, it was like, I've made no qualm saying I like the 50 Shades movies, but even I get to a point where you go, that is absolutely like unfair on Dakota, like what she went through in that movie, well, in those movies, like the kind of leering camera, and then you're like, Jamie Dornan just wearing like no top, but he's wearing jeans. I'm like,
Yeah.
come on, like that's disgusting. Like, and again, I'm hoping we start getting more like filmmakers, because it was like, yeah, like Bottoms was like a great raunchy comedy. It's like I'm hoping people like that start reinvigorating these franchises, like, or subgenres, sorry, like you said, with slashers, bringing it back. Like let's get these people who grew up on these with a different perspective and different lens to then, have, it was like, I think, I don't know if you've seen it by now, the Totally Killer.
No, I haven't watched it yet.
No, but you take the slasher movie, which obviously was massive in the 80s, and you take a character now and you put them back then when the kind of heyday of slash. It's very, I love that meta-ness to it, but
Yeah.
it was a great social commentary on today, but also that's obviously your subtext, but the main story was still fascinating. So it was like, it was a really good kind of package. I think you can do that, and it's like, I've even enjoyed where Scream has gone with the last two kind of movies as well. Kind of with
What's the biggest? No, go on. Sorry, I cut you off.
Oh no, I just said with the commentary. That was it. I'm done.
I wasn't the biggest fan of the fifth one, just because I thought you could have just left it at 4. But
Yeah.
number 6, I actually really did enjoy for actually making it fresh again.
Yeah.
Don't know how I feel about Sydney not being in it, but then again, now with everything that's happening there, Nev Campbell's probably like, "You're gonna pay me what I'm actually worth. You want to bring me back now?"
Yeah.
Especially if they get
because
Patrick Dempsey to come back.
and that's the thing. It's like I think, like, I as I said to you, I've always been on the kind of middle ground with Scream, but I think personally I'm done. Like, if you're not gonna have, because Saw 7. Oh dear, I apologise. Yeah, with Scream 7, you were building to the battle of the final girls. Sydney one side, and obviously Samantha Carpenter on the other.
Sydney, and Cindy, scary movie.
Oh, Sydney. Oh, right. Oh no. Oh, for God's sake. This is what I mean. Yeah. Yeah.
They got both mentioned today. It's all good.
Yeah. And with, like, basically, yeah, never that, and it's, you just kind of get to that point with, like, that was going to be the showdown. And I think that's where your meta commentary would have come from. Is, and you could have had a lot of, like, true crime stuff in it, and now you're removing one of them. I don't know if Nev's going to come back, if I'm completely honest, because of obviously all that, because now you've lost Jenna as well, so you've lost basically most of your new cast. Is, Nev had to fight to get a half decent paycheck for coming back for Scream 7. So now is it like, what are they going to do?
He's the only one left too. Like Patrick Dempsey, his character came in at number 3. She's the only one left of him now. So it'd be really interesting to see what they do, but I hope they just don't butcher it, because they're like, well, we've got the money to make it, let's just make something because we can.
Yeah.
Because I think she's a lot better than that.
Yeah, because I think the person that's now doing it did, like, what was it? I think it was either he did the Happy Death Day movies or did the Fantasy Island and Truth or Dare. Because there's two people that work for Blumhouse. One I love and one I don't, and I think it's the one I don't that's doing Scream 7. So I'm kind of like, I was already like, because as soon as you get rid of Radio Silence, I mean, I didn't understand why they weren't coming back. Like, but they've got, like, some secret Universal monster movie they're working on. I'm like,
maybe this could be the time they actually do bring Stu back finally. Because Matthew Lillard did say that they did try to bring him back for number 3, but then they had to change the story completely after Columbine happened. But if they did that, I'm actually quite... because I don't think I've actually heard them mention what the story would have been about. But if they've changed it because of what happened at Columbine, then it must have something to do with the high school.
Yeah.
And it's really sad to think that probably half the people who are in here, even those are like 2, I can actually, for my one, they know. But that a lot of people don't know what Columbine is anymore.
No. Definitely check out the kind of, I know a lot. I know he's controversial, but the Michael Moore documentary is a great place to start. Yeah, yeah.
I
I
rewatched it the other day because I had to explain to a girl at work what happened and what those boys did. And she's like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Okay, watch it, but you have to be in the right mindset because you're going to get
yeah,
upset."
yeah. And yeah, it was like, and it's because that was kind of, we had that in, yeah, that was shown in a sociology class, and I was just like, whoa, that's that kind of, and it's always funny how everything kind of bad always gets blamed on like the media. It's like, this musician made me do it, this video game made me go do it, and things like that. I've never seen that as a viable thing, because it's like, I've seen some sick and twisted like movies and things like that, and I've never had the urge to go, recreate that, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
And
They've tried doing it on SVU, saying that like, a video game made someone do something like that when it's not true.
yeah, yeah.
Because then they want to ban that video game Bully from, I think, was it on PlayStation 2 or something like that? Because
Probably, yeah, because
yeah,
I know that one got into it because Rockstar basically had a rough couple of years, because there was I've got to be
Manhunt.
careful what I say here. There was a GTA incident. That's all I can really kind of comment on that one at the moment. And then there was Manhunt, that
Yeah,
got banned because of that. And then I think Bully got a lot of flack as well. So they had like a rough couple of years where they had like 3 different games, and people were all blaming them for it. And it's like,